And welcome to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Ashley.
And this week we did another tourist attraction. So we had mentioned in the previous couple of weeks that we went and did a bunch of things all in like one day. Started with the Hermitage, then we went to 5th and Broadway and did the pizza place, and then we wrapped it up that day by going and doing a tour at the Ryman Auditorium. So that's what today is about, is the Ryman. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through more like what to expect when you go on the tour, and really if it's worth the money and things like that. If people haven't done the tour, if you should do it, if you're a tourist, things like that. So that's kind of like what the focus is going to be about, not really a whole lot about what they actually tell you on the tour,
Right.
So we won't get into specifics really, but just kind of give you more of an idea of what to expect when you do go on the tour. So starts out, what we did was we actually got our tickets through an app. It was just a little bit easier. We wanted to make sure that we could actually get in at the time that we wanted to. So we did it that way, and they have tours starting. They're really frequent. So how often?
I would
do
say
you
it was
remember?
probably about every hour they did
Okay.
it. And we did. I mean, granted, we were there on a Monday, but
Yeah.
we were able to get our tickets like within an hour of the tour.
Yes.
So they offer them quite frequently, where
Yeah.
you shouldn't miss out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to pick up the tickets. I know one thing that we were talking about earlier before we started doing this was how many people were on the tour and everything. So I guess the first thing is when you do show up and you get upstairs where all the groups form and everything, you're supposed to be able to go and watch a movie as part of the tour. I'm sure it's only like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that, but it's kind of like an introduction to the Ryman and things like that. So, but when we got there, the line was super long, and like we didn't even get a chance to do it.
Right.
So,
And I think I'm guessing that was maybe for like people that were doing more of a self-guided tour, because you can do self-guided tours too at the
Right.
Ryman. You don't have
Yes.
to. So I have a
Yeah,
feeling
so
that
you can
those
do the
people could
guided or
have been.
it could have been,
Self-guided, possibly.
Yeah. But I mean, it didn't really. I don't recall it ever telling us that we should show up a little bit early and go and do a video
Right.
and things like that. So we showed up like 5-10 minutes before the tour was supposed to start, and then they grouped us all together, and they're just like, "All right, let's go. We're going on the tour." So the one thing that we were talking about is the group size was, with them running these groups as frequently as they do. And I mean, I know it's popular, but like for what we ended up doing on the tour, there was like 20 something people with us, right? They take you in the dressing rooms and things like that, which is great because each dressing room is themed and stuff, but like they jam you into these
Right.
rooms, right?
Right.
So like, and the other thing is like, as you're doing the stuff in the rooms, they usually run like a really quick video for you to watch. And it's like, they put it in such a weird spot, and like half the people can't see it and things like that. So I would say like my one recommendation to them, not that they'll ever listen to me
Right.
or anything, right?
Or this.
but just expect that if you do go on the tour, and like do the guided tour anyway, if you do go on the guided tour, there will be a lot of people there, and it could get uncomfortable. So you show up, everybody sort of gathers and waiting for the tour, and then your tour guide shows up, and they just start like running you through this place, and it's like it's very quick. It didn't even
Right.
last like maybe an hour. Not
Yeah,
even.
no, I'd say it's probably
40
45
minutes,
or
yeah,
so.
something like that. So the basic things that they run through with you would be like the history. Okay, so they'll start out with the history and how it all started, and what they did when they first opened it. And it wasn't a music venue when it opened, so it had a different beginning, and then how it actually turned into the Grand Ole Opry and things like that. So So yeah, so it turned into, and then like as far as the history goes, turns into the Grand Ole Opry. Told what the run was like, and then about the transition, stuff like that. So
Well, I remember too, like walking in, I was like, this place looks like a church.
Right.
And then when we walked in, she did mention that, and
yes,
like the window panes,
yeah,
the
they have the
colored
stained
and
glass
everything,
windows
yes,
and stuff.
And
too.
then the pews, like it's not normal seating; it's pews. You're sitting in a pew when you go to
right,
see,
just like you're in church.
yeah, your entertainment.
Because it was a church.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
so yeah, no, and it still has that feel to it for sure. So so yeah, so they go through the history, and then as you're walking through, like I said, they start to bring you backstage throughout all the halls and everything, and they show you like the dressing rooms, which are still used as dressing rooms.
Yep.
And like we had just mentioned, each one of them has like a different type of theme. Like they'll explain like somebody from the past that like had a significant impact to the Ryman. And they sort of theme it around each room around that different either person or pair or, something like that, or group of people. I think one was Johnny Cash, right? Johnny and June, and then the other ones were
like women of
one
country.
was like the women of country,
So it had
right?
multiple
So yeah, different
female
themes.
country artists.
Yep. So they, like I said, they bring you into the room. They give you a little bit of history about what that theme is about. They usually run like, and when I say quick, like it's a quick movie.
Oh yes, maybe about a minute and a half.
Exactly.
Tops.
Yeah, very very fast movie. The tour guide was really good. I didn't have any problems with the tour guide
No,
at
I
all.
thought she was great.
She was fine.
I thought she was great.
And so then they are bringing you through, and they bring you backstage. You go through all of those, and then the cool parts really start near the end, right? As they should. You should sort of lead up to the good parts at the very end. So it's like they bring you onto the stage, and you get to walk across it very quickly.
Yeah.
No stopping. You're not allowed to stop on the stage, but it was cool to walk through, and you are on the stage for a couple of seconds, but then they do stop you on the side, and you get to kind of take it all in at that point, once you're off to the side. So they stop you there, and they start talking, and you get to take pictures of, the backdrops and everything like that, and they explain the history of the flooring that's still there. It's original. Like some of it is still original. Some of it is
the front of the stage.
Yeah, it's like the first five rows.
Yes.
Yeah. So 5 rows of wood.
Right.
Yeah. So you're talking about 1.5 feet worth of the stage is still the original. So
what I thought was cool is they actually took a piece of the original stage and brought it to the now where the Grand Ole Opry is.
Right.
They brought a piece there.
Yeah.
And they did mention that the Grand Ole Opry ended up flooding after that, so they had to come back for more wood out of the floor. But.
So so then they did that, and then you get a little bit more history, and they lead you off to the side of the stage, and then cool part, they have somebody as part of the tour. You get to take one picture each, so every person gets a picture. So the two of us got a picture standing. They place a microphone right in front of the stage, and you get to go up and stand up there, and it's really cool, and like that part of it is amazing because you're standing right there where everybody that's performed on that stage has stood in the past.
Right.
And rather than just like, I think I said this like right before we went up there, it was like, hey, don't just run up and get your picture taken. Like kind of look around, like while you're up there, and like look out and sort of get to see what everybody gets to see when they're on stage, So it was like, it was a very cool experience to like stand in front right there. They have the microphone, and then they have somebody there to take your picture, and then you can go and pick it up in the gift shop, and it's free of charge.
It is, yeah. You just walk right in. It's on the wall.
It's
you
at least
grab it and go.
It's at least free. I don't know. I doubt that they have a free one with the self-guided tour. I have to imagine that it was only the guided.
But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. So so that was a cool part. And then what was the stuff that they had like around the edges?
So they had a lot of like memorabilia and everything, like people's outfits that had performed there. Obviously Dolly Parton, she had one of her dresses. Carrie Underwood, Taylor Swift, Luke Bryan, a bunch of people
Yeah. So a lot of memorabilia and things like that. It was like if you were walking through the actual like Hall of Fame.
Right.
Right. So
Which is really cool because also like you see these people on TV and you have an idea of what size they are, and then you see their clothes and you're like, wow, they're taller or they're thinner or they're, you know, anything tiny,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you see like some of the guys' outfits, you know, you're like what they had worn, and you're just like, really? They fit into that? So, I mean, same thing with the women too, but like me, just like you get like a picture of somebody of like how big they are, you know, and then you see their clothes and you're just like, oh, that didn't fit.
Right.
You know? So that just doesn't fit what I had in my head. So, but yeah, so you do that, and that's kind of how we ended the whole thing. I think that there was like one more thing that we could have done, or like she was leading everybody back upstairs or something to go and see something, but we decided to kind of skip that at the end and just get our picture taken and then walk around like the whole perimeter and checking out like that sort of Hall of Fame type stuff and the memorabilia. So,
and they do have a small museum upstairs. I think we didn't check that out. Remember, it was on the second floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was an actual, like, I don't know if they have some sort of partnership with the Hall of Fame.
I think that's what that was.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, I think that all that memorabilia was
part
yes.
of it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they had a...
No, I think I'm almost positive that that's what all of that stuff around the perimeter was. It was like their partnership with the Hall of Fame.
Got
where
it.
They got to bring that memorabilia in there to show that stuff around. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, any like cool, like little pieces of history that kind of stick out that you remember, anything that you really liked?
I'm bad. I can't remember the lady's name. She was the one in the last room, but she had a tag on her hat by accident.
Right.
And then it just stuck. She always kept the tag on her hat. And I know that's terrible that I can't remember her name. I'm sure she is very popular.
But she was a comedian too.
Yes.
So it was mostly like she would do like comic stuff and from a long time ago. Yeah. Not like it was recent or anything. And yeah, I'm terrible with names anyway. I've got to meet you 17 times in order to remember a name. So
I just thought it was funny because I think she had needed a hat. She ran across the street, grabbed the hat, forgot to take the tag off, and then that just ended up being her thing and it stuck.
Right.
And
I think it was only like 90 cents.
Yes.
And she added the one on there, so it was $1.90. So at least didn't look as cheap, she said. So so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I like the memorabilia part. I really like the being on stage part. I thought that all of those things were really interesting, and they are. It's amazing to like stand up there and just like look out and see what everybody else sees while they were performing. You know,
like then just to be in those dressing rooms too, that people. I'm like they still use
Yeah,
them. I mean, and they're
tiny.
nothing like special or fancy or anything. It's just more historic really than anything.
And one of the really good stories that they do tell, like as far as the history goes, was the like the original sort of manager that not, I wouldn't say original, but the one that sort of brought it back, like it was probably like almost 100 years ago, I would say. I forget the dates, which is why I'm not mentioning any dates at all, right? But it's she was like one of the original managers that really brought, you know, the Ryman like to what it is known to be now, you know. So, and she was there forever, right? And so the whole history behind that was really interesting to learn, because I didn't really know anything about the history of the Ryman at all. So everything was new to me. So
no, same here. Honestly, I mean,
I just like history to begin with. Right.
Exactly.
So it's like just learning about things in the past and everything. And I mean, in Nashville, like what better place to start, you know, than to go there. So I thought it was a really good tour.
And the location obviously is great because it's right there in the middle of everything.
If anybody doesn't know where the Ryman is, it's on 5th. It's like
it's right near Broadway. Yeah, it's right near Tootsie's.
Two buildings.
And they were saying that too. That there's been some people that have performed it that they'd have to go and grab them from Tootsie's and get them on stage.
Those were the old hangouts. Yeah, so they'd leave there and then go to Tootsie's, and that was that. So. But yeah, I mean, overall, I forget how much it cost, but it was probably like $50 or somewhere around there. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it costs. I would absolutely do the guided tour.
I agree.
Again, you know, spend the extra $5, $10,
Right.
Even if it's 30, spend it. Exactly. It doesn't matter.
You're
going to get the full history.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They have those little like stories that you might not see if you're just like walking through on your own. You know what I mean? Which are cool to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Like to hear it from somebody and like get like the little extra bits and things like that. It's absolutely worth it. If you're going to do the tour, do the real tour.
I think it's worth it too.
Don't be cheap.
Not even that. Like I feel like I would go in and I'd rush it. Like not on purpose, but like, oh, that's cool, and just keep going, and be like, all right, I just spent $40 and I'm out of here in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
You know what I mean?
Out.
That's why I like the guided tour.
For sure. So,
cool.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend doing it. If you are coming to town, you're probably going to do it anyway, but just know that it is one of those tours that are very well known that is absolutely worth doing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of those tourist attractions you absolutely should go and do.
Yeah.
Unlike some of the other ones where I know that you've got friends that are coming to town that want to start doing these stupid pedal things. Those are the big tourist attractions too.
Why not, right?
It's not really something I would ever recommend anybody doing when they come into town. Jump on a stupid pedal bar.
There's nothing wrong with a little fun.
This one is worth it. Pedal bars, not so much.
Have you ever done one?
No. What the hell would you do one of those? What is the point?
Well, then
give me a point.
How can you knock it if you never tried it? It's just for fun. You get to sort of see the city a little bit. You get to have a few cocktails, a few beverages. It's just
and they tell you got to pedal a bike the whole time that you're on it.
It's Scrooge.
That's insane. And not only that, but these people that do it are like, oh, if we don't pedal, you're gonna go. It's motorized, people. What are you pedaling for? Stop pedaling.
I always think it looks fun. Whenever leaving the Preds games, I'm like, I want to hop on one of those.
So stupid.
The kids would do it with me. I know they would.
Oh yeah. Just toss the kids on a pedal bar.
It should be a kid-friendly one.
Yeah, oh my God, we're going into a whole new territory right now. So anyway, the Ryman, so definitely do it. It's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. History is good. It's cool to see. You get up on the stage really fast. You get your picture taken. Do the guided tour. Don't be cheap. Don't do the self-guided tour.
Yeah.
Learn about it.
Do it.
That's it. That's all I got. And the pedal bar threw me off. So just whole new variation that we just took this down. So, all right. Anyway, that's all we got. So thanks for listening. I have no idea what we're doing for next week yet. So not doing any plugs. But if you haven't already, subscribe on YouTube. If you're just listening on the podcast, make sure you follow us. And we will talk to you next week.
Have a good one.
Listen on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Watch all of our episodes on YouTube at The Nashville Scoop. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast or TikTok at The Nashville Scoop Podcast. If you have any interest in real estate in Nashville, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok at The Nashville Realtor.